All right, guys, looks like we're back in business. Anyways, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sully's Tech Hub. I just finished cycling about 8 miles with an espresso machine on my back. I'll show you right now. In this bag, I have not only a hydration bladder, if you're familiar, something like a Camelback or a Hydra Pack. You can see the cord there. It's a very small backpack. My hand can span the whole pack. I also have a chair in here, and I also have an entire espresso machine. I cycled up here on the Hemingway Zebra. Don't have a review on this right now, but I could consider doing it. I mean, it's electric. That's tech, right? An electric assisted bike. But today, I'm just going to be making an espresso in the park with the tiny espresso machine that's inside of this bag. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. As technology improves, there's a few things that sometimes happen with things that we used to use or things that we couldn't previously use. Things start to become more powerful, they become faster, they become cheaper, and in some cases they become smaller and more convenient. And in the case of this espresso machine that we're going to be looking at today, it has gotten both cheaper, more convenient, and smaller. Kind of like this chair. Quite small, not that hard to put together. Just being able to have a sit in a park after a bike ride and enjoy some coffee, espresso particularly. It's quite nice. How does that look? Comfortable enough to enjoy a coffee? We are back in the tiny chair, guys. Got our tiny backpack. And this is our espresso machine that we're going to be looking at today. Doesn't come with much. Well, some of the stuff doesn't come in there at all. I've just chosen to put these things in here for my own convenience. Normally, this is a tray that holds the cups that you use to fill, I don't even know what they're called, but the espresso filter cups. I'm not much of an espresso guy, not in the sense that like I treat it like a hobby. I just like espresso. So this is our espresso machine, though. It's called Outin, I think is how you pronounce it. It's just spelled like Outin. Pretty simple. They actually make this in quite a few different colors, and they are about the size of kind of a taller water bottle, maybe like a Voss bottle, as you can see. And this thing is going to be making espresso for us today. I'm not going to cut this in any sort of way. I might edit it afterwards, but I'm just going to go straight through the process. No, I'm not. I didn't pack my coffee beans. Wow. So since I had to make the ride back home, I'll take this time to tell you just a little bit more about the Outin Nano, some information that I left off. One of the things I want to mention is that it charges via USB-C. That port is located on the back and it's covered by a rubber flap. In addition to that, it does charge quite slow. I would say it's no less than, it's got to be around 2 hours at least, which isn't a deal breaker or anything considering it's not an urgent use object, but yeah, it takes about 2 hours to charge. One of the other things I wanted to mention, and I will kind of pop it in as B-roll whenever I actually come back to the park and I'm actually able to make the coffee this time around, is that the O-ring, the cover that has the water dish, it's sealed by an O-ring, but that O-ring doesn't necessarily have the greatest seal ever, and you actually have to be really careful and attentive when you fill it because it'll actually open itself through the pressure of the steam. So it's not a solid seal. You do kind of have to pay attention to it if you're gonna do that. So I'll show you that, but yeah, you'll see it lift itself up. We're back. So I've now cycled a little bit over 32 miles with this espresso machine in a backpack. So it really is small. And this time I have the coffee. And we'll talk about that a little bit. There's a reason why I didn't have the coffee besides the fact that I forgot it. But it has a bit to do with this carrying case. But really I just want to flow through and actually make an espresso, and then while it's brewing I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Like I said before, this area right here is normally used for it's got a little, I guess, a foam dish that you use to hold the espresso cups, but if you do that, then you don't really have any room for a grinder. So I choose to put my grinder there, and that's part of the reason why I didn't have everything I needed yesterday. Is you actually can't fit everything in this carrying case, so you have to kind of plan and find some other way to either carry your grinder, or if you want to put your grinder in here, then you need to find somewhere else to carry your beans and other things. So anyways, I have a pre-portioned out little bit of coffee beans. Hopefully we don't spill any of these. I don't think we will, but and I actually have some lavender petals in there as well, because I like those weird foo-foo coffees. I drink it all different kinds of ways. Black.
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
With cream and sugar. Cappuccinos. lattes, flavored lattes, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, so that is our coffee beans and lavender petals. And I always grind it fresh. Like I said before, I'm not much of a coffee person, but I read that grinding them at the last second is better than pre-grinding them. I guess it preserves the inside of the coffee bean a little bit better. I imagine that the difference is probably pretty nominal. Probably doesn't make much of a difference, but you know, for what it's worth, I'll play along. I'll do it. So there's that. Just a couple more taps to make sure nothing's missing, and then I normally tap the grinder just to get everything through, make sure everything's actually come through. Now we have our coffee grounds here. So this is the first component I guess we'll look at. This is the cup, and it's got a rubberized base to it, which seems to collect dust like crazy. They just mowed the grass out here at this park, and now there's I guess there's pollen everywhere. But anyways, yeah, so a little bit of a rubber base. There's the top, comes off. You have your filter both in the top half and the bottom half. So anyways, I'll do my best here. I don't have one of those little funnel cups that a lot of people have, so what I do is I pour a little bit, and then I tamp just a little bit to get it flat again, and I pour a little bit more. The lavender is very fragrant. It's really nice. When I was in Argentina, there was a lot of lavender down there, and it reminds me of that. So a little bit nostalgic. I also just think it tastes good. Adds a nice floral component. It's a little bit, how do you say it? A little bit aromatic, a little bit floral. We'll get the last bit in here. And I usually take it all the way up to the top. I don't know if that's great or not, but that's just what I choose to do. I don't think it's too much. I've never had a problem, and I've been using this thing for about 6 months now. So this is more of a long-term review. And I guess I should say now that this was not sponsored or provided by this company. I unfortunately paid for this with my hard-earned cash. Not that they don't deserve it or anything. I don't know much about the company, so can't really speak to them much. Okay, so here's the bottom half. I'm just going to remove this. You just screw it off. You're left with the top half. I had just made a cup this morning, so that's a used one. And then here's your it's like the vessel that this cup will go into. So you put that in there. That screws in there. Put the cup back on. And now we need some water. Always pour it out and use fresh water. This probably won't be the best water ever because it's from a Camelback or whatever hydration bladder, but should be fine. Let's see what we can do here. What do I need to do? Hold it up. Oh, that works. Look at that. I usually fill. It has indices for 50, 70, and max, and that's milliliters. And I normally put it at about 60. I think 60 is like the Goldilocks, just from my experience. And then If you tap once, you get your battery indicator there. You'll see that all the lights turned on. I'll do that one more time. And then when you long press, it's going to start the brewing process. Or let me make a correction. It's going to start the heating process for the water that you've put in there. Now, if you've steamed the water yourself, or if you get it boiling, and then you just want to start it right away because your water is sufficiently hot, you can actually just double tap that and it will just start brewing with the water that you've provided. The water that I've put in is obviously not hot. It's coming out of a water bladder, a hydration bladder. So instead, what I'm going to do is long press. You'll get an audible recognition that it's started, and you'll start to see this light blinking. Put it a little bit closer. The blinking light indicates the progress. Anyways, that was quite loud. So the blinking light indicates the progress. We're already on the second one. Just to let you know, we took a pause for about 15 to 20 seconds in case I edit that out. So you can see we're somewhere between 30 to 40%. When it hits the 50% mark, you'll start to see this third light start to blink. But while it's doing that, I'm just going to talk more about this case. You can't fit everything in this case, because to do this full operation, in my opinion anyways, you need the actual machine, the espresso machine, you need a grinder, you need these cups, and you need your coffee. And I've tried before, but there's no way to put all of those things in here all at the same time. So maybe they could consider making a larger case. The case is quite nice. It's very hard, but decently malleable to where, you know, it's got some nice give to it, but it's very rigid. That's my only recommendation with the case, but otherwise it's really nice. Zip enclosure. It does have a second mesh section up here, although I don't know what you can actually put up here, because again, this is hard. So when you put something up here, it's gonna butt up against the machine, the espresso machine, when it's in here. I've tried to put things in here, and it's very difficult to get it to close when you've put additional things in here. So that's it for the case. So you can see we're now on the third blinking light, so we should get espresso here in just a moment. Normally when I put room temperature water in this machine, I typically can get espresso out of it somewhere between 3 and 4 minutes is what I typically see. I do think there's a temperature sensor in here.
So you might have noticed throughout the video that I keep putting my hand on top of the Outin Nano. That's out of habit because I've had it for about 6 months, and you can see that when it's heating the water, it's actually building up enough pressure to open up that O-ring top, and I have to sometimes push it back down.
Because when I've put warmer water in it, that time definitely goes down. It's not the same time every single time that you use it. You can start to hear it brew a little bit on the inside. It's a little bit noisy once it actually finishes, and it will let out one more beep to let you know that it's completed. So it'll beep, you'll have just a momentary pause, and then it will start to brew. So you can see the third light or the fourth light is blinking. And usually when this happens, you have less than 30 seconds. That's what I've noticed. Less than 30 seconds until it starts to brew. So let's see if that's going to brew in the next few seconds. I think it will. There it goes. You can see there's espresso coming out into that cup that is provided. And I let that completely finish. That process takes about 30 seconds, I suppose, maybe a little bit less. But let's take a look at the coffee. So here we are with our brewed coffee. A little bit messy there, no big deal. Let's take a look at the inside. And we definitely have a foamy espresso here. And let's give it a taste test. And for a brief moment, I forgot that I put lavender in there, so it caught me by surprise just a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely nice. It's smooth. You can see it's formed quite a nice foam head. It is very hot. In fact, I'll probably wait just a moment before I start enjoying it any further. Let's take a look at the inside of this. So here are those indices that I told you about. You have just that small section right there where the water flows through, that little drain. That's where it gets pulled through. The unit itself is quite warm right now, especially near the top. Near the bottom, not so much, but quite warm up here near the top. And the cap is moderately warm, not nearly as warm as just below. So right here is where the majority of the heat is contained. Quite a nice device. Let's see what it says for battery. And you can see we've lost one light of battery. What I find is that if you are putting in room temperature water or cold water, this thing is usually going to produce right around 3 brews per full charge. It charges quite slowly. It doesn't have any kind of fast charging technology, which is fine. I don't really expect it to. But if you put warm water in here, so I have heated up some water and put it in there, and it definitely uses a lot less battery. I've been able to do espresso shots through this, and I'll still have all 4 lights here. So that kind of indicates to me that it's not really using a lot of battery. I don't know how many shots it produces if you're using warm water, but you know, I don't really think this thing is made to make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shots on the go. You know, take it to work, do a shot while you're at work, and then take it home and recharge it, whatever. It doesn't need to go the long haul. Actually, I just left this at the office, and I would just recharge it whenever I needed to when I wasn't using it. So we'll do another drink of this. You can see the cup is like this fogged, semi-transparent. You can see through it, but it's definitely not clear. It's more of this like smoke gray. It's quite nice. And it produces espresso, and that's, I guess, the biggest point. When I was initially looking at this, and I'll hold it so you can kind of get a size comparison, but for the price, so I bought this thing with the case included as a set. You can buy just this, but if you get like the bundle, you get the carrying case, and you also get extra cups. So I think out of the box it just comes with 1, but if you order that bundle, then it comes with those 2 additional ones, and it also comes with a K-cup converter, so you could put an espresso K-cups in it, which I've never used it, but someone else I'm sure will check that out. The price itself, unless it's changed, back when I bought it, this unit by itself was $140, and the bundle was $160. And if you know anything about the price of espresso machines, this could be, it's either really gimmicky or this is a great deal, because it's very hard to find, you know, good espresso machines that are less than, you know, 300, 400, kind of. I would consider that on the lower end for espresso machines. Then you've got like nice espresso machines that are like 500 to 1,000, and then you've got your quote unquote professional espresso machines that are several $1,000s. So for 160 bucks and to be portable, my initial benchmark that I set for this device was, if this thing can just not be terrible, it will be worth it. And to be honest with you, I think it's better than terrible. In fact, I think it's pretty good. In fact, I had an Italian coworker who has tried this, and she said that the espresso is really good out of it. And I would have to agree. I have made, a couple little drinks with it as well, not just straight espresso, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty dense. It's not watery at all. Of course, you can kind of determine that for yourself by how much water you want to put in the top reservoir here. Like I said, 60 milliliters is what I tend to put in there, but you're not locked to that amount. You can put a different amount in there. For 160 bucks, it works. It has, I think, reasonable battery life. It's really small. It does what it says it's going to do. I really don't think there's much to complain about. For its price point and for its intended purpose, I would give this product by itself like a 5 out of 5. Just because it's far less expensive than comparable espresso machines, and it's far less compact, but it's not really giving up much, except for, that you have to do the water separately and all that. If I were to consider the case as part of the total evaluation, then I would say 4 out of 5, because it's just not really big enough to carry everything that you need. Like I said, I think you need a grinder, you need the machine, you need beans, and you need the cups. And there's just no way possible to fit all of that in here. So you usually end up having to put half of your kit in the carrying case, and then you end up putting the other half of your kit in a backpack or something else. And it's just, it'd be kind of nice if it could all just kind of stay together. But of course, I know that would probably require them to make their own grinder so that they would have consistent sizing throughout, because that grinder is not provided by them. It's a different company altogether. So I don't know if there's any other questions that you guys might have about this thing. I know I probably didn't go as in-depth as maybe some other people on this product, because I'm not really much of an espresso guy in terms of hobby coffee and stuff like that. I don't really get into it like that. But if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Like I said, I've had it for about 6 months now, so I've used it quite a bit. And if there's some other insights I can share, I'd be happy to answer those questions in the comments below. Thank you guys again for stopping by Sully's Tech Hub. It would mean a lot if you guys like, comment. Won't ask you guys to subscribe yet. Don't really have that much content, but it's coming around. You can if you want to, but liking and commenting, you know how it goes. It really helps with the algorithm, and it lets my videos actually be seen by some other people. So that's it for today. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.